Hello, this is Robert Hollis, and this is part 2 to the UnStuck series. Now, one of the things I want you to know is that each one of these things that I'm covering, when I wrote the book, How Is That Working, were really incredible things that just hit me and changed the way I thought forever. And it's sort of to get you in that mindset of why I was able to become successful so quickly once I found a mentor, is I didn't have to forget anything. I didn't have to change anything. And let me explain that. There's two things that you will be able to find out on how fast you can become successful. And one is based off inspiration. The other one is based off desperation. And when I really go out there and look at a lot of people that become successful, unfortunately, a lot of people come from the place of desperation. They're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. They get so humbled that they don't ask questions. I'm going to say that again. They don't ask questions, they just do. They listen to instructions, and they just believe if someone else can do it, they can do it. So going back to my story really quickly, as I just want you to think about this. I was in a position where I'm on workman's comp. I'm making $900 a month. I'm losing everything I have. I pawned my toolbox. I took my car, my used car, and got a loan from the pawn shop. And I was missing payments on that. I was getting eviction notices on my my home. And also had the repo man, looking for my car. And I just hardly have no money coming in. And it was getting so bad that I got desperate, and I'm just telling you what I did. Whether you believe in this or not, it is not up to me. But I really got so desperate, I got down on one knee, I always tell people, because the other one was in a cast, and I asked for help, which I think is such a key to success, is because we always try to do everything ourselves. And there's, like a lot of successful people say, how can you use the mind that got you into the place you are today and use that same mindset, those same thoughts, those same ideas to get you out of that situation? And so I became very desperate, and I just shouted out, God, please help me. And again, I got this incredible call. Now, even though I got that call, you probably are presented with a great opportunity, and this might be one of them. But now you got to go into action. And what I did is I call these POPs, P-O-P, place of passion, a period of passion, a period of time where you get it. And I'm going to talk about that on the next video. But bottom line, I just humbled myself. And so, I was looking for an answer. Again, you're going to hear this phrase over and over. When your mind's open, it's like a parachute. It works. And a lot of people that are watching this, you're thinking that you can't do it. And I don't know how to do this. And how am I going to learn all this stuff? See, maybe you're not passionate enough. Maybe you're not desperate enough, or maybe you're not inspired enough. You get inspiration, believe it or not, from other people's success stories. If they can do it, I can do it. And so I've gotten different periods of passion in my life from both places. So when I met my mentor, being extremely humbled, he told me what to do, and I just did it. I believed 1,000%. Faith, speaking of things that are not as if they were. I said, man, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So with that all said, I want to cover something that's very important, is that I want you to say the phrase to you, and think about this phrase, is how do you know that? Again, how do you know that? See, we go through entire lives and people die and get buried by basically following things that they never ever took the time to find out if they were true or not. And don't get mad when I say this. I'm talking about my story. See, I believed 100% that if I went to school, got good grades, went to a trade school, got good grades, found a good job, and then worked super hard, that I would have everything that I wanted. And like I've said on other videos, I figured out, man, 25, 26 years of age, I lost all my passion for being an auto mechanic because I just didn't like it anymore. I took the thing that I was passionate about when I was young, used to race cars, used to build race cars, and I turned it into a job. And I know some of you that are watching this video right now, you're doing every day, you're just doing the same thing over and over and over. And guess what? It's like, I don't mean to be harsh, but, a rut, being in a rut, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is a rut, is a grave with the ends knocked out. I say there's a lot of people on the planet right now that are dead, walking around like zombies. They just haven't been buried yet. They'll get buried in their 70s and 80s. But going back to the point, I just humble myself. And I started learning things. All of a sudden, my mentor Bill turned around and started sharing some things with me that I have never heard of before. And he started telling me he got him out of books like Think and Grow Rich and the science of getting rich, and Napoleon Hill. Today, ladies and gentlemen, man, you go on YouTube and we live in the best time on the planet. I'm telling you, is that I used to listen to the audio tapes, cassette tapes. And, nowadays you can go on YouTube and put in my name, or you can go to YouTube and put in Jim Rohn. You can go on YouTube and put Napoleon Hill or Bob Proctor. It's unbelievable how much information you can get that fast. And so all of a sudden I started hearing things like Jim Rohn's. One of my favorite things is he said, I want to show you how to work for profits instead of wages. If you learn to work for profits, you become, wealthy. You have an incredible future. But if you work for wages, you're working for somebody else's future, somebody else's dream. And so I started learning these things. Like one of the things my mentor said to me that just nailed me is he said, Robert, listen, why did you become a mechanic? And I go, well, I became a mechanic because you got to get a job. You got to get a job because you got to make money. You got to eat. You got to have a roof over your head. You got to do these things. And he said, well, if money is what you need to put a roof over your head, to have a reliable vehicle, to give to charity, to eat, to take care of your family, why don't you just study and learn how to make money? What? Why don't you study how people that are wealthy make money? And I just went, that sounds so simple. And it's funny because I started reading books. Now, I don't like to read. So you're going to see in our back office, click on books, and you're going to see in a number of places that not only do we have the book that you can download for free, but also the audios. And the whole point of this is, how do you know that? What are some other things that you just know that you know that you know? Like I said on the first video, if you haven't watched that, watch that. What are some things that you know that you know that you know that throughout your entire life that you found out wasn't true? See, again, I believe that being a mechanic and working a hard job is the way you make it. Guess what? Now I have a lifestyle of multimillionaires and billionaires, and I didn't do it by being an auto mechanic. I had to think different. Well, here's some funny ones I just want to share with you. I was blessed to be interviewed by a guy named John Stossel. Now, whether you like him or not, I see him on a number of shows, and he's always exposing things that are not really true. One of the ones that I love that he did is, don't we keep hearing all the time that in the United States we're overpopulated? We're overpopulated. If you've never taken an air flight or driven from one state to another, there's a lot of places there's not people. I mean, I fly from California to Montana or Montana to Florida, and you're looking out the window, and even during the night, you very rarely see a city. It's like amazing. But why do we hear these things? And here's another one. We always hear that. When I was a kid, don't go outside, without a jacket because you're going to get a cold. It's like, listen, you don't get a virus from temperature. But guess what? We listen to these things. The root of money is evil. You know what I mean? I can go into that one too. What are other things that you've heard that now you listen to and, it's like, oh my God, one of those companies. But you always hear this stuff from broke people. You always hear this stuff from, people that are struggling. You wouldn't get advice, would you? From someone that's been divorced 4 or 5 times. You wouldn't get any advice from that person. So about your relationship. So my point being very simple is you got to start asking your question, and believe it or not, Roger Penske did this to me. Here I was trying to be a part of his group and his team. And he asked for suggestions, and I gave him a suggestion. And he said to me, "How do you know that?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "How do you know what you just shared with me is fact?" And I went, "Oh my God." And see, so some of you right now, if you haven't been successful yet, if you got that entrepreneur spirit that's just inside you, and you know that you should be doing this, and you don't, you're stuck. I'm telling you right now, in any failures that you've had in life, it's been because you've listened to people that didn't have the answers. They were just sharing stuff with you or selling you some stuff that they're not documented. They're not documented. So what I mean by that is they haven't really become successful. And how do I evaluate success? Let me show you. Is if that person that you're being mentored from has a number of people that give them credit for their success. Learn that from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said, if one day when you pass, you move on, or even if you're still alive, if someone is telling their success story, if someone's writing their success story, and your name is in it, you got it. So that's more of joy. That's more fulfillment. That's more passion than anything. And so in the next videos, I'm going to be talking about POP. You know what I mean? Your period of passion, your place of passion, and how you can apply that right now. And also what I'm going to do is talk, of course, about finding a right mentor. Right now I think that's the biggest one. So that's my video for the UnStuck series. Again, thank you so much for plugging into Success in Minutes and all the videos, and I'm here to help you. I know that I can share with you exactly what you need to hear and what you need to do to build that confidence, to build that belief, to build that satisfied, loyal customer base so that you can go out and do what you want to do with the people that you love the most. So take care. God bless.